lined up very nicely. It's those blue and black cars of Jay Howard Driver Development walking out the front row. McNeely on the inside, Majman on the outside. It is time to go racing. Green flag flies, and we're underway. Green, green, green. And a good start there for McNeely jumping off. But look who's coming up the inside. I believe that is Jack Jeffers pushing to the inside. He may come away with P2. I believe he does. He slips through. So move Jeffers up into the second spot. And we are underway. Drivers settling in cleanly. Remember, when green to checker in USF Juniors, we'll see if the 2000s can match that. One driver thinking about going 3 wide further back. You saw that at the right side of the screen. Some lockups into turn number 3. This is where the split-second decisions can make or break your race. You see the gap, maybe I'll push it in there. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you're better to check up and battle later in the lap because you need early in these laps to kind of settle in. Just get into the position, let the train develop, see what you were able to get on the opening circuit. Sure, you were going to be aggressive. You might have got a spot or two. Don't give it up because you got a little over-aggressive. See how things shake down after the first lap, and there is issues right there for Ryan Janetta. That front wing almost coming off. It's broken already. He obviously locked it up and got into the back of somebody, so Janetta's going to have to pit sooner or later. If that wing does tuck up underneath, he could be on for a ride. We do have one driver fully 4 wheels off, 3 or 4 off near the back of the pack. Number of drivers going off the racetrack. One continues. That might be, I think that might be Ayrton Hauk, actually. You see that driver there, well off. They had contact. Someone probably losing the rear a little bit coming out of turn number 9. That driver's rolling. If that's Hauk, whoever it is, he is coming back onto the racetrack. So I don't think we're going to have to go. Yeah, that I believe is the Ayrton Hauk machine. So we are not going to go yellow. Excellent job for the drivers involved. A couple of them doing 360s, 2 of them off the track. But we're back at it. McNeely, Jeffers, Majman, Gafera, Cooley, your top 5. I want to say Timmy Carell, Brady Golan, and Ayrton Hauk, the drivers involved in that initial incident. Ty Fisher, let's come back to you. And you made a really good point there. Being a rookie driver in a program, a brand new program, 14 rookies in your category and a lot of sophomores, you don't know them very well. And in karting, you end up battling the same guys up front, right? You know what they do. You know what they're going to dive you here. You know how to draft with them. Really, these are opening couple of races. You're going to focus on trying to learn the rest of your competitors.
Yeah, even the first race, I was racing a few of the D-Forces, few of the Jay Howards, few of the exclusive cars, and I was just learning the way that they drive, seeing if they like to brake deep, brake early, get a good exit, seeing how their driving style is, and I adapted to that, was able to get around them sooner than later, and it really helps, and I think it'll help me a lot in the next few races, just knowing the guys that I'm around, how they like to drive, if they like to be more cautious, more like just finish the race, focus on the championship, or if they're like trying to send it, go for the win, and all that stuff.
Yeah, you're out there driving and do the mental notebook, right? Okay, number 18, he does this. Like, again, that's multitasking, folks, when you're out there because you're trying to learn the tendencies of those around you. Once you get a feel for that driver, when you're kind of hounding him as Ty did for a number of laps, finally able to get back to a stellar P4. A great start, of course, to the season for Ty Fisher, who runs for Vanilla Racing, the young driver from British Columbia, Canada. Top kart racer over the last number of years. Continues to be karting in the senior ranks at just 14 years of age. McNeely out front right now. He's got a full second on Jack Jeffers. Jeffers has about a second and a half on Brad Majman. There is first and second right there coming through turn number 3. This is how they ran at St. Petersburg. It's how they run here right now. But Majman, again, into the 3rd position. A little closer, though. Caleb Gafera, Evan Cooley behind him. As we see them work their way to 4 over to 5, you're going to see that next group. Majman's got some room. There's Gafera to the left side of the screen. But that is a leader as they work their way out of turn number 5, 6, 7. So, Ty, let's come back to you because I want to get your thoughts on 5, 6, and 7 because I know talking to a couple of the drivers, of course, a little bit more horsepower here, but essentially the same aerodynamic downforce on the car. What are you doing through 5, 6, and 7? Are you flat out all the way through there? Are you supposed to be flat out all the way through there?
You're supposed to. I was having to lift a little bit in 5 because I had a little bit of aero wash through most of the race. But through 5 should be flat. 6, you want to maybe brake in the 2000. In the juniors, you're just lifting, and then 7's a flat, easy flat.
Easy flat through turn number 7. But a key corner, 7, a little short shoot, of course, down into the 8-9 chicane. That's going to set up the run. If a driver has an issue coming through 7, even 6, you're going to be able to roll up on them and potentially make that pass. We saw that actually. That's where you made your pass, actually, on Gonzalez. You get a really good run out of 6. We're able to get down to the inside of 7. I thought you were going to wait until the end of the straightaway at 10, but you went after him early.
Yeah. Yeah, had a really good run, and he made a little mistake. I think he might have gone off, and I just took advantage of it and sent it.
And listen, that's one of the things you have to do, too. You have to put the pressure on, like we're seeing on the racetrack right now. You have to keep that relentless pressure on. If you can't get by, you got to make them make a mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
Ty Fisher, no stranger to wheel-to-wheel racing. Like a top national kart racer at Superkarts USA, USPKS, Rock Cup competition. There's a lot of the big karting events it has over the last number of years. But this, of course, now is the focus for Ty. Look at this scrap we have going on here. This is a good one. This is a little bit deeper in the pack, as we know, but they are going back and forth. They come through 5, using all of the exit of the racetrack. Again, we'll pick these drivers up a little bit further back. There's the number 90 right there. That is Evan Cooley. So I think we're probably looking at Majman, Gafera, Cooley, Schrag, and likely Garzone. Even further back, I think you throw Argyros in there as well, because Gafera is only a half second behind Majman, 9/10 back to Cooley, 2/10 back to Schrag, 7/10 to Garzone, not even a second to Argyros, who's got Musella right with him as well. So a lot of action, and that shot through turn number 8 and 9. Actually, what are the racetracks that? Yeah, that's 10, 11, and 12. Well, let me ask you about that, because Ty, a lot of things people have been talking about right now is the curbs. We've had some drivers who have bent push rods, broken push rods. Where are you in terms of the balance of attacking every curb and staying off them a little bit? Is it easier for you guys in junior to stay off the curbs, or are you hopping curbs like you would in your go-kart?
Well, it depends. A few of the corners, like turn 10, you're hopping the curb a lot.
Yep.
Getting the car on 2 wheels, which feels way different than the kart. But you do want to be careful of the push rods. In testing, I bent a few push rods, and I definitely didn't like the feeling of it and wouldn't want it to happen in a race. So in qualifying, sometimes you use the curves, but in the race, you just want to maybe stay off them even if they're a little bit faster, because you don't want to bend the push rods. That's the last thing you want to do in a race.
You got to finish exactly that. I know a number of drivers have talked about that. It's that kind of balancing out, weighing it out. Do I hammer the curbs? I know it's a half a second faster, but I'm going to break a push rod and be out. I can stay away. Maybe the opening couple of laps, you get away and see what kind of a gap you have, and maybe hitting those curbs doesn't need to be as important. This is the fight we're watching right now. I think it's going to start building up. This is for 3rd spot. This is Brad Majman, the Australian, the rookie driver in that number 7 for Jay Howard Driver Development. Caleb Gafera right behind him as well. And just like Ty, who was a top-level junior car driver from moving to senior, Caleb Gafera did exactly that same thing back in 2022 on both the Superkarts USA Pro Tour X30 Junior and KA100 Junior Champions. He was the outright best junior driver in karting back in 2022. But you can't take much away from Brad Majman either. He's a former Super Nationals winner in the Micro Swift category. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, but indeed he's also been a race winner before in a JS F4 Series last year, 3 wins, 5th overall. You see the full course yellow out onto the racetrack. Not exactly sure why that is. The AMR IndyCar safety team is ready to roll. Quick look around the racetrack. I don't see myself here quite yet where it is. You can see they're scooting off. So indeed, full course yellow right now here. That's going to get rid of that big lead. 2.3 seconds advantage, and the driver off right there is the number 9 of Anthony Martella. I want to say he was running in the 7th position, and Martella has gone off somewhere in the gravel. Let me have a quick look over the shoulder here, because gravel's all the way around 5, 6, and 7, so not really a good opportunity for us to see where it happens. I would hazard a guess that it's going to be on the outside of turn number 5 and 6. We saw a number of drivers go off there, but does that look like some damage somewhere on that car? It looks to me maybe right front damage, Ty.
Yeah, you can see the front right's lifting up a little bit. Maybe he dropped a tire the corner before and bent the left rear push rod.
Yeah, indeed that. So a lot of times, folks, as you saw, we saw that in qualifying with Max Garcia when he damaged the left rear, broke the push rod in the left rear. The right front's going to come up to the balance of the car. They're so stiffly sprung that when you lose the bottom, it really lifts that right front, the opposite front tire off the ground. So we didn't do bad. We got 5 laps in. A scheduled 15 for the drivers here in USF 2000. They weren't able to go green to checker, as we saw with the drivers in USF Juniors. They are putting on an absolute show. Great racing, respectful, gave each other lots of room, and were able to run 12 green flag laps. We're going to bang out a couple under yellow here right now as the AMR IndyCar safety team heads over. They'll have to take the tow truck actually in to pick him up. That's not going to be one they're going to flat tow back. So McNeely is your leader. That 2.3 second advantage is gone. Same goes for Jeffers. He had about a 3-second advantage back to the battle between Brad Majman and Caleb Gaffera. They are third and fourth. Thomas Schrag in the fifth spot. Sebastian Garzone in sixth. G3 Argyros with the issue for Martella now works his way up into seventh. Musella to eighth. Evan Cooley, who was up front, moved back a bit to ninth. Christian Cameron in 10th. Lucas Facuri 11th. Eddie Bestwick. Remember, Bestwick started last. He's the very tail of the field at 19th. He'll take advantage of the departure of both Vian Bajas and Anthony Martella to move his way up into 12th and press the reset button for Bestwick, and he'll be able to potentially fight for the top 10. Joshua Leonel, he started in 12th position. He's fallen down into 13th. Timmy Carell at 14th. Remember, those drivers were involved in the initial incident coming out of turn 8 and 9. Carell, Dolan, and Ayrton Hauk. I believe all those drivers staying on the lead lap indeed. Janetta came into pit lane, I believe, and put on the new wing. He's down a lap. Vian Bossoff is down a lap for whatever reason. He had to come into pit lane, and of course, only 4 laps for Anthony Martella. They're going to have to drag this car first out of the gravel trap, and then I believe get it hooked up, unless we thought about damage, or maybe just high center. We'll see whether or not he's able to come back on and whether there's any damage to that car. Ty Fisher from Zanella Racing joining us here, a rookie driver in USF Juniors. Ty, of course, coming into the program here, you have your expectations, right? I'm a rookie. I know I'm racing against a bunch of guys who have been here before. But then you do the Winter Series and you win a couple of races. That's got to be good for the confidence to kind of change what you think is going to happen in 2025.
Yeah, like before in testing, I had some pace. A few tracks I would be top 5, top 3, but my expectations weren't to be in the top 3. I was thinking more like learn how I am, like see how the car is, and you can see there that the push rod's bent for Anthony Martella. Most
definitely. There's have a look at it, folks. You can see the right front is up, and we talked about push rod damage. Whether that was just a broken push rod straight off or contact, we don't know. We don't have the replay to look at it, but to me, especially if it looks like it's over in 5 or 6, very likely had the issue potentially coming off the side of the track over in turn number 4. The extra 4 is going to be a kind of a divot there, I guess. You drop the wheel into there, and we've seen a lot of push rod damage there. Let me come back and ask you about something, because you're right there, as so many juniors are moving from karting to cars back and forth. Tell me about the difference. Tell at least the viewers about the differences, because the interesting thing is that a karting weekend, you're constantly on the racetrack, right? Especially if you're running 2 classes. You guys are jumping back and forth. I know you're a senior now. You're kind of focusing on one of the classes, but you're always on the racetrack. Today, 1 qualifying session, 1 race, and we sit around. Is that tough for you to make the transition where you're not always in the focus, you're not always in the place where you're ready to be on the racetrack?
Yeah, definitely a lot different. I do like the karting a bit more because you have 20 minutes in between a session. You're like rushing, trying to fix the kart. If you like get in a crash or you're trying to make a setup change, you don't have that much time. It's a rush for the team. And in this, you show up early, you do your qualifying or warm up or practice. Then you wait like 3, maybe 4 hours, just sitting around doing nothing, and then you're not really in the zone, and then you have to go out for a race session or a qualifying session, and it's definitely a lot different.
That's the mental side of the game, isn't it? You're going to have to teach yourself, of course, Zanella, the whole crew you have there, to get yourself in that mindset. I know you guys pour over a lot of data. Every time I try to come in there and grab you guys, you're in the back looking at data and looking at the video. But do you have are you working, at least now that you're kind of new to this, are you working on a procedure, something, the way you get yourself ready to go? I know a lot of guys listen to music. They're out there skipping, whatever, maybe doing the tennis ball toss. Do you have anything that you do right now that gets you into the mindset?
Yeah, like before every race, I'm always like thinking about the start, thinking about what's going to happen, like what I have to do. It's like be patient, no need to push on the first lap and risk wrecking the car. Just be patient, take the moves if they're there, don't force it, and just think about how the race can go down, like half an hour before the race and before you put your stuff on.
That's it. I like it. You have to get in the right mindset because you're having fun. We watch these guys in the paddock. They're enjoying themselves. When we get to the IndyCar race, they're going to have because we're at Barber Motorsports Park with USF Junior. You guys are going to have an autograph session, I believe, on Friday afternoon there as well. You got 3 races there, IndyCars there. But you'll even see the IndyCar drivers do it, right? They'll throw that headset on, they're listening to some music, they're out skipping, whatever they're going to do, but they get themselves in that mental place, because I don't think people understand, especially at this level, and as you keep going up, how important it is to be mentally ready. Because again, like you said, when you go into turn one, you can have a lot of ideas, Ty, of what you're going to do, but really it's more reactionary and then drawing on the information and experience you have to make the right decision.
Yeah, like if you're not in the right mindset, you can easily hit the brakes too hard, lock up, go into the car in front of you, not be paying attention. If there's a crash in front of you and you're not like fully focused, you could smash into them. You could have a bad reaction time off the start. You really have to be like super focused, ready to go, and know like the limit of your car when the tires are cold. That's one thing that a few of the juniors and 2000 drivers, they don't really think about it before the race. They're like, oh, the tires, maybe they're a little cold, but you can still go deep. But you try that, and then you lock up into turn one, crash the car, your race is over.
I think we're almost ready to go here, folks. Let's have a quick shout out. I know that you started obviously racing up in British Columbia, Area 27, the good folks over at TV Kart Race Lab. I know they're probably watching back in British Columbia right now. You still get a lot of time to get on the track at Area 27, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't been at all this year, but we're leaving Monday. We're going to go there, test in the Radical.
There you go.
Have some fun, go on the lake. Yeah, that track is one of the best tracks I've been to. It's in a great area. It's an amazing facility, food, everything you need. There's a karting track right beside it, and the layout, there's a ton of elevation change, super smooth. One of the most fun tracks I've driven, actually.
Yeah, Craig Feiner keeps telling me to come out there and check out the facility, the kart track itself and the big track, so I'll have to get out there sooner or later. It's been a while since we've had a driver of the program from British Columbia, Canada. Awesome to have Ty Fisher alongside me here. He's been a wealth of knowledge to kind of look on the inside here as we get set to go back to racing. 7 laps down, it'll be 8 when they come back around. Our Honda Civic pace car has pulled off the pit lane. Time to get back at it. The driver's meeting, they said as soon as you get to the apex in turn 13, you can roll on the loud pedal, and that's exactly what Liam McNeely did. But who's going to be challenged from behind? He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. Jack Jeffers is right there. Brad Majman closing up on the gearbox of Jeffers. I think Jeffers is going to have to cover off the bottom. This is going to be good for him. Jeffers to the inside. Majman trying to go to the outside. He better watch out for Caleb Gaffera. There's Gaffera, and right behind Gaffera is Thomas Schrag as well. And indeed, we saw the battle. Jeffers was able to pull away. Majman's there, and it's going to be Jeffers looking to the inside of Majman. Is he able to get through to the inside of more of a shallow entry for Jeffers? That'll push the car wide. Here comes Majman looking to the inside, not quite it. Look for an over-under coming from Gaffera further back as Majman tighter on the exit of the corner. And look what this has allowed. This reminds me of a lot of go-kart racing I see where everybody battles for second and the leader able to jet away. Liam McNeely says, thank you very much. I'll roll out to probably a half a second lead. There's that lead now for Jeffers. He gets a bit of a run as Brad Majman thinking about the guy behind him as Gaffera is there, Schrag is there. But they've got a bit of a gap back to, I think, Garzone. Indeed, Garzone leads that next group with Argyros, Musella, and I believe at the tail of that group is Evan Cooley. So, indeed, back at it here right now. Lap 8 in the books, 7 more to go. Let's see if Jeffers has any pace here to potentially try to reel in Liam McNeely. He finished second to the Brit in both races at St. Petersburg. Comes in here third place in points, but as Jack will tell you, he'll know if you're putting up solid podium finishes, you're going to keep yourself in championship contention. We've never had drivers win every race of the season. Something always seems to keep things rolling. But indeed, you think what's happening here right now for Liam McNeely, and I go back to his former Jay Howard driver development pilot, Christian Rasmussen. I think won like 7 of the first 8 races of the year, something to that effect. I'll go back and look at that this evening so I have that chart. But we've seen Jay Howard have such amazing runs. Last year it was Evangelos Papasavvas, who I think was on the podium second for the first 5 races of the year. Really kept himself in the hunt versus Garcia. A little further back there, Argyros up on the wheel. He's able to get by Garzone, so Argyros now going to close up on Schrag. There's first, then second, third, fourth, and fifth. Jeffers, Majman, Gaffera, and Schrag. Argyros finally able to break through, started 9th, now runs 6th, +3. Good in anybody's books here to start a season. Argyros comes in 6th place in points, 5th and 10th at St. Petersburg. There's Thomas Schrag in the number 2. Again, Thomas trying to put the pressure on Gaffera as well. Gaffera, who was all over Majman before the full course yellow. I thought he was ready to make the move to pounce, but this has stacked everything back up. If they have the pace to pull away from Schrag, that'll let Gafera go back on the offensive. He's looking to the inside, and this is going to help Jeffers because Majman's already thinking about the pressure from behind as Gafera up on the curbing coming through turn number 11. Back through 12 and 13. Caleb Gafera putting on the pressure. Look at Argyros closing in. He's loving what he's seeing now. Watch for a pass potentially here. That's the beautiful thing about turn number 1. You can go inside or you can go outside. See, here's Gafera. He's going to pull along the outside of Majman. He's going down to the bottom of the racetrack. Gafera's going to be able to run the outside, potentially take the spot away. They'll be side by side coming down into turn number 1. Majman's still on the outside. Gafera can't quite do it. But remember, an inside shallow entry for Majman is going to give a big outside run for Gafera. Watch for Schrag to come in. Is Gafera looking on the outside coming through turn number 3? Thought about it, and he's still there, trying to set himself up over for turn number 4. Caleb Gafera going to ride the cushion. Oh, I think he's gone to the inside coming through. They're side by side coming through turn number 4. How about 2 deep side by side? Argyros trying the outside of Schrag. This is tremendous stuff for USF2000. You can't go too wide through turn number 5. Wow. Let's pick him back up. Gafera's through. Majman still has the spot, so Gafera is able to finish the pass, but no other overtakes. I thought Schrag may have been able to move to the inside, or maybe even Argyros getting around Schrag, but Caleb Gafera has got that job done. Move Gafera to 3rd. And if I'm not mistaken, this was the Sunday podium that we had at St. Petersburg. Look at this action. Majman trying the outside of Gafera. He may have the inside coming through. What a pass from Majman fighting back on Gafera, but Gafera trying the outside. He'll use the curb. He's going to go all the way around the outside, side by side, coming out of 13. Check out this draft. And there's Argyros behind his teammate, Schrag behind Majman, and coming up behind them as well is Garzone and Masella. Why not? Ty, this is good stuff right now.
Yeah, this is really good racing.
Ty's going to school. He's watching this big time. Majman runs Gafera a little wide. He'll go high on the track to potentially try to hold off Schrag, but look who's coming to the inside. Schrag thinks about the inside of Caleb Gafera, and he's got him. Schrag to the bottom. Little lockup further back with Masella. This is good stuff. These guys are going wheel to wheel through 1, 2, 3, and 4. Another lockup from the outside. I think that's Schrag finally finishing the pass. No, Schrag's on the outside, Gafera on the inside. Good run out of turn number 4 for Schrag, and I think he's going to complete that pass in turn number 5. Harder to pick up from the drone, but we'll get them on the outside here at turn 6. Yep, Schrag is through. But look at what they've done to line everybody else up. That's Christian Cameron in there as well. I think he's by Cooley, so move Cameron up into 9th. Cooley goes back to 10th. Liam McNeely just sent him the mail. He is gone. 2.5 seconds. He's in a different zip code. McNeely loving the action behind him as he's looking to go 3 straight victories to start the 2025 season. Oh, there's contact there. That might have been Garzone over the top of Argyros. He'll take the escape route up the inside. There's damage to the wing there. I have a feeling that might have been the 12 of Garzone. We'll see when they come back around. He's going to have to come down pit lane, I would think. I don't know that he stays on the racetrack. He might have, actually. But that front wing damage definitely hurt him over in 5, 6, and 7. You lose that front wing, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you can also see, I think Gafera might have damage to his wing as well.
Look at the rear wing. Whoever got driven over top of is going to make a pass with a bent rear wing. We'll have a look at it more when we come through. Trying to figure out whose wing that is. That actually may be Cooley. But that's Cooley and Cameron there, I believe. That's the battle right now for 8th and 9th. Look at this scrap we're having here. 12 laps down, 3 to go. Rear wing damage on that one car we talked about. I think it's hard to pick it up there. I think it's the car, the lead of that group there, that 4-cart group coming out of turn number 4. The wing is not off, but it's been bent to the left. Whoever that is got through turn 5 like there was no issues whatsoever. If indeed that was the car with the wing, indeed there it is there. I think that's Argyros. There's Gafera there, the 24. He's now battling it out a little further back with Teddy Masella. Again, got hung out to dry a little bit there. Brad Majman up into 3rd, Schrag 4th. That last time by, but there is potential damage here. Yeah, Gaffera, I think somebody's lost the front wing as well. That even Gaffera who's lost that front wing. You can see the driver there, the remnants of the wing holding on. Let's see as they come back through. Yeah, that's Caleb Gaffera. That front wing is hanging on. It's actually turned, it's rotated counterclockwise, and he's getting eaten up. Here's Cooley coming through. Behind him, the number 11 as well. That's Joshua Leonel. The tough one for Gaffera with that front wing. He is dropping like a rock. 2 laps to go. You see there, right under the start finish, the wing damage. Leonel's going to go by. He's third in points, and Leonel's going to find himself up into 10th. There's a lockup for Gaffera. Just can't get the car woed up or turned. He's going to lose 2 more spots. He knows it. He's holding on here right now as Beswick and Carell get by too. Timmy Carell by with Beswick, who's now up into, I believe, 12th, started 19th, plus 7 for the Aussie Eddie Beswick. McNeely leads, though, 3.9 seconds. He's very thankful for the action behind him. Jeffers second, Majman third, Schrag fourth, Argyros fifth, Musella sixth, Cameron seventh, for Curry, Cooley, and Gaffera. Your top 10 across the line, but as we know now, Leonel up into 10th. Ty, this is the kind of race you love winning. I know it's happened to you in karting before. You get out front, let everybody battle behind, you just cruise to the end, 90% throttle all the way home.
Yeah, exactly. Those races, they're always fun to watch, fun to see the drivers behind fighting. But then sometimes it's also really fun, like when you have a 10-car battle and you end up getting the win from that.
That's true.
After a dogfight.
They're better.
Yeah.
They're more fulfilling.
Yeah.
But you'll take these ones too.
Yeah, I'll take anything.
Yeah, you want to have your karting mechanic on the side give you the big window, or the guy on the radio saying, dude, you are plus 3.6. You're good. Hit your marks. White flag flying for Liam McNeely, who again was in a battle for the championship last year in USF Juniors, came home second spot in that category. 5 wins on 8 top 5s, 12 top 10s of the 18 races for McNeely. He was there. Very consistent driver in juniors, and now out to a solid lead here. Although he'll lock up the left front coming into turn number 3. Why not push? He is still on it for sure, folks, and indeed, he set his fast lap, I believe, on the last lap. Why not, right? 134.685. So, again, this is that nice little cruise to wrap things up here for Liam McNeely. Remember, folks, we have another race coming on this particular stream. This broadcast will go down in Victory Lane, and then likely I'll come right back up. We're going to have time, I think, for me to get to Victory Lane. If we had any more yellows, we probably would have had to keep me up here in the booth. But I'm probably going to bail down to the Victory Lane as soon as I possibly can. But then we're back at it once again for the drivers in USF Pro 2000. Those drivers will roll out their, I believe, green flag. Their command to start engines is at 324. A long way to go still here. I don't even start the driver introduction for another 25 minutes. So, indeed, I will be down in Victory Lane. But this is the final lap here for the number 6 of Liam McNeely. Out of the final couple of corners on the racetrack, 12, 13. You know what? These are the starts you hope for when you're a young driver. You dream about them. He'll work his way out of the front straightaway. It's a big victory. Call it back-to-back-to-back jacks. 3 straight wins to start the season for Jay Howard Driver Development's Liam McNeely. He wins race number 1 at NOLA Motorsports Park. Jack Jeffers coming home second for the 3rd straight race. Excellent job for Jeffers. That is big for him. If your primary competition is winning races, the best you can do is finish P2, and that's 3 in a row for Jack Jeffers. His victories here in 2025 will come. Thomas Schrag able to get by Brad Mashman on the final circuit. So Schrag up into 3rd. What a great run overall for him, because he was P5, as we know, behind that lead group. Finally able to get by, and of course, issues as we know for Caleb Gaffera. He ends up all the way down in 16th. So Schrag 3rd, McNeely, Jefferson, Schrag on the podium, Brad Majman in 4th spot, Teddy Musella in 5th, G3 Argyros in 6th, Christian Cameron in 7th spot, started 13th, so plus 6 for Cameron. Lucas Facuri in 8th. Facuri started in 11th. He ends up 8th, top 10 for Lucas. Evan Cooley in 9th, and Joshua Leonel rounding out the top 10. Ty Fisher, the drivers are coming in here momentarily. Did you pick up anything from that one? You learn anything watching the broadcast here for your 2 races tomorrow?
Yeah, saw how aggressive they were into the 10, 11, 12 section. They were going too wide through those turns, and I had a few opportunities to, but I didn't want to risk it. And now I know that it's possible through there. I just saw the maturity from all these drivers, keeping it pretty clean for the most part. And yeah.
Listen, a couple of check marks on the day. Your first official USF Juniors race, your first time in the booth with me. Was it too painful or was it not bad?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't too bad.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ty Fisher, ladies and gentlemen, joining me here in the booth, and we'll let him go now to get down. And, of course, his team will be rolling things up tomorrow with 2 more races for Zanella Racing. 4 drivers under the Zanella Racing camp, and a couple of them, 3 of them actually in the top 10 in race number 1. Drivers will roll the way down here. We are looking forward to seeing a victorious Liam McNeely take the helmet off, jump out of that race car, and show us the celebration for 3 straight victories. What a fantastic run for McNeely. It is all working good for the driver out of London, England. He'll pull that machine in. The team will be stoked about that one. Here he comes. McNeely's done it twice already this year. He was the victor in both races at St. Petersburg. He's going to bring it in here. And, of course, once he gets out of the car, we see the celebration. I'll get an opportunity to go down and introduce the 3 drivers. We'll do victory lane celebrations. Ideally getting him to get that helmet off. We want to see that face when he gets out of the race car, see the celebration of getting the job done. What a huge victory for him. And indeed, taking full advantage of the scrapping behind him to stretch away, both in the start of the race and after the full course yellow. He was able to get away. McNeely getting himself prepped. Team, of course, working their way up there as well. Another victory hat for him. Another first place trophy, and here he is getting ready to get out of the car, folks. Liam McNeely, 3 straight victories here to start the season for Jay Howard Driver Development. And there you have it, folks. Time to go down to victory lane. Don't go anywhere. We'll have victory lane celebrations coming up here momentarily. There's his mechanic Josh Huff with him as well. Josh just celebrated a birthday as well on Thursday, so another birthday present there for him. A victory here. Jay Howard comes in as well. Victory lane celebrations coming up, folks. Right after that, we're going to be getting set to go with the first race for USF Pro 2000. All right, ladies and gentlemen, down here in Victory Lane, getting ready to get things underway. Again, USF Pro 2000 drivers ready to fire up for their first race of the weekend as well. But, man, 1 full course yellow there, but some tremendous racing for the first half and the second half. Wow, that was good stuff. A last lap pass gets this driver onto the podium as we get things underway. Folks, a round of applause finishing in 3rd spot for VRD Racing, Thomas Schrag. P5 to P4 to P3. Great job for Thomas today. Get himself up on that podium. Talk about the fact that when the guy in front of you is winning races, the best you can do is grab second. 3rd straight second place finish for this driver. Still in the championship fight, no doubt about it. For Exclusive Autosport P2, Jack Jeffers. Jack was challenged on that restart, but was able to work his way back up. Did a great job in P2. But again, the driver started the season off super strong. 3 straight victories. Last year was his first win here in USF Juniors. He's got 3 to start the season. The winner today in USF 2000, race number 1, Liam McNeely from Jay Howard Driver Development. Liam, let's chat here. I'll give you a chance to do the high five here. Man, 3 straight. I don't think you could have asked for much more when you were thinking about how to start the season.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, a brilliant start to the season, and yeah, just continuing on. You know, the work that we've put in over the off season, and you know, it's really paying off now. So really happy.
Well, you got out of the gate strongly there. Were you getting the call from the radio and from the team saying, "Man, they're just battling behind you. Keep pulling away."
Yeah, no, I could see in my mirrors that you know they were battling. So all I had to do was just hit my marks, and you know we had the pace there. So yeah, it was all good.
Obviously, a little different, probably the temperature of the track from the morning to the afternoon. Can you give us some indication of what it was like when you got out there? Was it a tougher racetrack this afternoon?
Yeah, for sure. You know, over the last few days, it's always been a bit tougher in the afternoon. So it's mainly just trying to, preserve the rear tires and, try and, straighten the exits up as much as possible, really.
I was saying that you were probably going to cool down, but you locked the left front up in turn 3 on the last lap. You weren't done pushing, were you?
No, I was still pushing right towards the end. So the car was phenomenal. So yeah, really pleased. I'm really pleased for the team.
Who do you want to thank today?
My mum and dad, Jay Howard, my engineer Joe, and all the crew at Jay Howard. You know, they've done a mega job.
Well, you're collecting these ones here. P1, get up on top of there, my friend. P1, the winner today, Liam McNeely, 3 in a row to start the season here in USF 2000. What a great job for Liam. Indeed, a little lock up there in turn 3 on the final circuit. He was pushing hard all the way through to the very end. And I'll tell you, 3 very talented drivers here on the podium right now, as we know. Liam McNeely with the win. Jack Jeffers' third straight second place finish. Thomas Schrag, a great final lap pass, able to get through to take third away from Brad Majman right at the end of that one. 3 different teams in the top 3 as well. Jay Howard Driver Development, Exclusive Autosport, and VRD Racing on the podium here to begin a triple header for USF 2000. Lots of time before we're underway, about 15 minutes still before we have the driver introductions for USF Pro 2000. So those of you on the stream right now, don't go anywhere. Grab yourself something cold to drink. We'll put a little content up there for you before we get ready to introduce the drivers of the first USF Pro 2000 race of the weekend. Champagne coming out. We'll have a little celebration here for the drivers, get a chance to enjoy themselves. Yeah, you gotta wear these suits again tomorrow, folks. Drop the hats, grab the champagne, boys, grip it and rip it. Let's have a little celebration here. Great job at race number 1. Liam McNeely, 3 straight victories. Second place for Jeffers, third place for Thomas Schrag. Awesome race to start off USF 2000, just 1 full course yellow. USF Pro 2000, next up driver introductions in about 14 minutes.